in 1980 and won the Midas Open in Illinois for his second title. And he is now the PBA. He's a PBA Hall of Famer. And also, he's the president of the Hall of Fame museum down in beautiful Arlington, Texas. Who, if you get a chance to get down to Arlington for the Cotton Bowl, and I think, George, next time before me putting you in the basement, we should have gone there. You would have had a great time before, But at the time, we didn't know who the heck each other were. I know my friend Matt, had a great time there. So, what's Adam?
You mentioned it's called one of the greatest lefties of all time. 2-time PBA Player of the Year. He's a huge hockey fan. So let's bring in the president of the International Bowling Hall of Fame and Museum, the one and only Mr. Mike Aulby.
Hey, Mike, you there?
Mike, thanks so much for joining us. And
need to be on. How are you?
Good.
Cool. What was it like to bowl against Dave Davis for your first career title in the Midas Open?
Yeah, Dave is obviously one of the classic lefties. Such a smooth release and down and in type of player. And that tournament, Dave Davis led the field by 770 pins.
Wow.
And I was able to beat him on the television show, but, kind of ran through the field. I qualified 5th. So, to get an opportunity to win one when somebody leads by that much is a rarity, obviously. And Dave's class guy, very fortunate to be on the Brunswick staff with him and Johnny Petraglia in the early 80s. And, very fortunate, but there was no better of a guy on and off the lanes than Dave Davis.
Yeah, we're showing you a clip from 1981. You bowled in the Pennzoil Open. I think that's before the AC Delco Classic, right, Mike?
Would have been, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chris, you left him hanging you left him hanging with a 7-pin.
Yeah, he makes a spare. We got to show him he knows how to make a spare.
Yeah, I did make that.
Yeah. Hey, what Parker Bone told me last week, and I played part of his interview on our page. He met Dave Davis because Dave Davis lived like 2 blocks away from him in New Jersey. And I said, that's pretty cool. And his mom must have knew the Davises or something like that and got him an opportunity to work with Dave. And Dave, improved his bowling because, Mike, if you make your spares, your average goes up. If you don't make the spares, your average goes down. And Parker was telling me last week over the phone, he's like, yeah, I was like a 150 average bowler until Dave Davis showed me a little tidbit here and a little bit there. And all of a sudden I made my spares. And I was bowling 250s, and I was, getting myself, where I want to be today. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So did you have somebody like that, Mike, to help you get yourself started, or you just learned from all the people you saw on tour?
No, I had a lot of help through the years. But if you look at Parker Bone's physical game, I mean, you see Dave Davis all over it. I mean, just a classic long arm swing and smooth and down and in. And Parker is very versatile and a classic gentleman. So he emulated Dave Davis on all aspects of it. And what a perfect person to do it with. And both great champions. And, I was when I was growing up, in the 70s, mid 70s, obviously it was Earl who was the top, and I followed Earl, but the one I followed was Johnny Petraglia. Johnny was more flamboyant, hooked it more, and ran shots out and more exciting. And Earl just beat you. Johnny a little more flamboyant doing it, but and Johnny and Dave Davis obviously were very close and through the years and represented Brunswick so well, and I mean Johnny still does, and so I was fortunate to grow up at a time when those guys were the leaders, and they were just great role models. I mean, they not only did they do it right with the bowling ball, but they did it right with the way they acted. I mean, they're very professional, whether it was an exhibition or just a flat just bowling. A tournament. I mean, you couldn't ask for better people to follow.
Yeah. And Mike, when I was growing up, and George probably, was watching. Did you watch a lot of bowling, George, when you were a kid, like my age? I know Saturday afternoons and this time every Saturday afternoon.
Chris, it's all I did on Saturday afternoon was watch these guys on TV. Come on.
Is that appointment television for sure? Right?
Hey, My mom, I said this to Norm Duke, Mike. My mom put me in front of the TV, and I was mesmerized by the orange bowling ball going down on ABC Professional Bowlers Tour. And Norm Duke goes, "Can I get some money from your mother for babysitting?"
Because these guys inspired me to go become a bowling coach. When I was a teenager, I went out and got my coaching certificate from the United States Bowling Association.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are what got me into the sport, and I shared back with the other kids.
Yeah, you can never have enough good coaching. And, through the years, I was very fortunate to have different coaches, whether it was John Jowdy with Columbia or Fred Borden, the Team USA coach. Tom Corris wrote books. I mean, just all through the years, I tried to be as much of a student of the game as I could. And even as a kid, traveling around every night to a different bowling center to watch the local Classic League Bowl to try to pick up, any kind of points or tips I could find. And one thing through the years for me, you just never felt like you could, learn enough. So how it would adapt to your game. I mean, that was the key to me. Just always continue to learn and never feel like you had it figured out, because the minute you thought you had it figured out was when it bites you right in the butt,
Yeah. Well, Mike, when you were up on the pros, and I was talking to my friend Matt, I'll bring him in a minute. Him and I were talking the other day. You were I called you like a smooth operator, because when you got up to the line, it never saw like you had anything out of whack. Yeah, you were so like you made sure everything was perfect. You made sure everything was good. And if you had that shot clock, you didn't care. You paid $250 for that shot clock they had. But I felt like when I was a kid growing up, it was like I'm sitting here going, this guy is taking his time, and he's thinking what he needs, and he's just a smooth operator. And I feel like watching you on TV, I was like, wow. And I tried to do it myself when I was a kid at rec bowling, but some guy named Pete Weber made me want to speed up and run things out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always just tried to let the ball do all the work. I mean, that was the key for me, to keep me from overhitting it or overturning it or trying to do too much to it. And it's let the weight of the ball control your arm swing. The weight of the ball is always going to be the constant. So the minute you tried to add muscle to it, that became inconsistent. So that was kind of what I lived by.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
All right. Mike Aulby's on the program, and say hello to Mike.
Hey, Matt.
Mike. Yeah. Well, yes, Matt. So yeah, I mean, I know when I was younger and stuff, watch you and P. Weber and Petraglia. Like, I mean, it was just great watching the Pro Bowlers tour. It was phenomenal. I know that me and Chris watched it all the time and everything.
Religiously.
So, but yes, we did. but yeah, just tell me like what the tour meant for you, and your family and everything, and like what does it mean, I guess, what do you think it means to the fans?
So for me, I mean, everything I have, whether it's my family, I went my wife through bowling. I mean, everything that I have is all bowling related, and I've never met any nicer people than I've met in a bowling center, and I'll tell you, it's I was very fortunate, and I don't take that for granted, that the career I had, or the people I've met, or the things I've been able to do. And it's just you respect it, and there's nothing that you can't remember as a kid, if nothing like Nelson Burton Jr. and Chris Schenkel and those Saturday afternoons. So when I was fortunate enough to make a show, I would go early. I'd go way early. I'd get to know the guys on the television crew, and because you didn't make all that many shows, if you think about it in the average through the years, how many times you actually made television. So I would go and just take the whole experience in and enjoy it. So because there was nothing like that rush when you're able to bowl well or to actually win the title. I mean, what a feeling. I mean, and when they start again on Monday after Saturday afternoon, everybody's back to zero. So it's a fleeting moment.
Yeah. George, you got a question for Mike, right?
So actually, Mike, a couple things. One, I was looking at your bio. You have 2 skating rinks in Carmel, Indiana, which I actually live in the northern part of the state, near the Michigan border. And you have a bowling alley in Lafayette. I'm going to have to go check that out.
Oh, come see us. Yeah, come see us for sure.
Are you in the state of Indiana, or?
Yeah, I'm on the north side of Indianapolis. I'm in Carmel.
Okay.
I live up here. I grew up on the south side of Indy, but always been in Indiana. So yeah, we've got Lafayette, Indiana. We've had that bowling center for 20. We're celebrating our 25th year there.
Excellent.
And then the ice rinks are both here. One has 2 sheets of ice, and the other one has a single sheet. And then we also run an outdoor rink at the Carmel, at the city of Carmel. We operate that for them. So
awesome.
Nice. That's
on
cool.
the business side of it, I used to actually live in Connecticut before I moved out here to Indiana, and I saw that you actually won the Greater Hartford Open at Windsor Locks.
Windsor Locks. Oh yeah.
We've had a couple of folks on the show, and it always amazed me about where the bowling alley is located in reference to the airport.
The flight pattern, yeah.
Exactly. Flying right over the bowling alley. Did you ever have an experience where you were in a tournament there and something startled you and you found out that it was a plane flying over?
Well, I think early on you learn real quickly where that place is at, and 1980 was my first year ever there, and I actually finished third in the U.S. Open there in 1980 when Steve Martin won, and so you learn real fast about the particulars. And I remember making the show one year there, and not the year I won, but I remember Nelson Burton Jr. Bo always would do at the start of the show do his talk about what's happening during the week, and his big discussion was how dry the lanes were and how it was chewing up the bowling balls because of the flight pattern and the planes flying over and causing all the dust and dirt to land on the lane and soaking up the oil. So I remember that extensively. But one of the other shows there was a bomb scare. So that was another one where I actually
1990, wasn't it, Mike? 1990.
Probably right in there because I lost my first match on TV and got into the motorhome with my brother-in-law Steve Cook, and we left to go to the next stop, and then we were watching it on TV, and then that's what they said about the bomb. So it's like, wow, I guess that was a good one to lose early on. Get out.
Wow.
Well, Mike, I was, I was looking at your, I knew your career since I was a kid growing up. And did you like bowling in Baltimore? Because I feel like Baltimore with the Fairlanes Open was like the greatest bowling stop because to me, I felt like I learned a lot more about the city of Baltimore through the Professional Bowlers Tour than I learned from my teachers, because I feel like my teachers never took time to show us, because we're like, 20 minutes, I'm like 20 minutes from the city here, where I live in Cockeysville. And I feel like I learned a lot, with bowling on TV.
Yeah, Baltimore was, was quite an experience for me. I always enjoyed Baltimore. I got my second ever check there in 1979, and bowling on all the fair lanes through there, and Wally Hall is a great Hall of Famer in our industry who was the leader and led that entire corporation. What a wonderful man, and has done a wonderful job in our industry. But what was always challenging about Baltimore was a similar type of things like the lanes were always challenging because of the surface, and we bowled in a lot of different places there, and but what I learned most about in Baltimore was because there are certain centers that were split, whether it was duck pins, half of it was ducks and the other half was 10 pins. And so being new to traveling and being out and around, I'd never seen ducks, and so we would bowl ducks, and then the next week you wouldn't cash because your timing was so off, because you beat the foul line and the ball was still behind you somewhere. So so it was always challenging because of that. But I just, it's a great sports town. I mean, I'd go watch the Skipjacks play hockey. I'd watch the Capitals a couple times, and and if you don't mind me taking a little bit of a little side, John, here, because I was a big Baltimore Colt fan. I mean, since I was 9 years old in '69. Wow. When they lost the Super Bowl to the Jets. I mean, I love the Colts. And then, of course, they moved here in Indy in 1984, and I've been a season ticket holder ever since. And
that's cool.
So, I was always a big Colts fan, and I got to know a few people there. And the year after the Colts moved in '84, I went back in '85, and a gentleman I got to know through the years come to me and says, "Hey, I've got something I'm going to give you, and I want you to take it. And just please don't talk about it or ask any more about it. Just take it and enjoy it." And he had a whole box of Baltimore Colt items that his family had boxed up. And he said, "Look," I said, "Hey," he said, no, seriously, we don't want this stuff anymore. We don't want to talk about it. You take it and enjoy it. and I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Wow.
Had this whole, this box had, bobbleheads and a program with Johnny Unitas signed. It's just unbelievable the amount of things. Of course, to a collector and a big Colts fan, it was just absolutely awesome, and still have all that stuff today. And it was just, but no, Baltimore to me has always been a great city, and I always enjoyed going there.
And Mike, it's okay. I have my girlfriend's parents have Ravens season tickets, and they don't talk about the Colts because.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But I give you full reign to talk about it because you're a friend of the show, and I know if I want to get to Indianapolis to watch a Colt game, or they want to call it the Horseshoe.
Yes.
Right. It'd be fun to come out there and watch one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. We enjoy the Colts, and obviously, I'm sure most people were in Baltimore were happy to see the season this year.
Yeah. Matt has the last question. Matt, go ahead.
Yes, Mike. Just one quick question. So I know you have a lot of great moments with you on the PBA tour and everything. So what is your top moment when you're on the tour?
Oh, my top moment. Yeah, I always kind of look at them differently. Probably the first one. I asked several because of the different degrees of what they mean, but the first one was winning the PBA National Championships in '79 against Earl in Las Vegas. My first title was a major, and not knowing my talent level, and as a naive 19-year-old, to finally to win a tournament, and cementing the fact that I can do this, and was just it took a long time for me to realize it. The next moment for me would be shooting 300 in Wichita on television in the championship game to beat Ozio with his 279. Never thought I would ever shoot 300 on television. It was just a tremendous day that I still enjoy seeing and on the tapes. And then lastly, the Tournament Champions was one that always seemed to elude me. I bowled well in Akron, but never seemed to finish it off. And then to win the Tournament Champions in '95 in Chicago to complete the Triple Crown and Grand Slam and all those things was just it's one of those days that I still remember to this moment. So that's why I started to say so many different ones, but they all kind of have a different meaning for me.
Exactly.
Well, I gotta say, it was a pleasure watching you on the tour and everything. So yeah, good luck with your best of luck with your endeavors.
Thanks, man.
Well, Mike, it's really great to have you on. And real quick before I let you go, how's State Hall of Fame going down in Texas?
Going good. We're obviously pandemic. People are open and coming in to see us. The board just met right before the holidays, and we're starting our remodeling going on. So we're starting with our science and technology room, and it's going to start with it's the Bill and Barb Chrisman room, which Bill and Barb Chrisman are the owners of Storm. Great people, and Bill's actually my doubles partner at the USBC tournament. So they're going to get us started, and that's the first room we're going to do, and then next one's the Hall of Fame room. So we're off and running and excited about it.
Hey, if you ever remodel, and can I borrow Chris Schenkel's microphone just for once in one of my broadcasts?
That's former Hoosier there.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great when I was down there and I saw it. I'm like, that Chris Schenkel's microphone?
Yeah.
And I'm like staring at it like it's like Yankee Stadium to me. I'm like, I see like gold around it. I'm like, I can't take it home with me. That's not nice. Come on.
Yep. I'll have to come down sometime and we'll get you into the vault, the back tour, so where you can see all the stuff that's not on display. That's the exciting part.
Well, that'd be great. Hey, that'll be my birthday trip. There you
go. Same here.
Yeah, Carrie Williams does a wonderful job for us as our curator. She does a tremendous job.
That's great. Well, Mike, thanks so much for coming on, and I appreciate you taking some time to talk about Dave Davis and how he went to the sport. And hopefully, people like me and the new generation gets to know you too. And hopefully they'll honor you like they honored Dave Davis and everybody else.
Well, thank you. We appreciate what you do for the industry and following bowling and continue to get the word out there. And anytime, I always enjoy talking to you guys. Thank you so much. And, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I see it.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, folks. This is Mike Aulby. Little Chris is pretty happy right now talking to Mike Aulby.
Yeah, because so is little Adam.
And Chris second that, and Adam, I'll third that.
And Chris, he lives here in Indiana.
I know,
Chris,
and
you
I'm
need to
thinking
get the
maybe
heck out here.
I have his phone number. Maybe
Chris,
next time I get out there,
we need to get you out here, and we need to go down to Lafayette, and we need to go hit some frames down at his bowling alley with
Maybe-
Mike
maybe-
Aulby.
That
That would be something for you.
That'll be awesome.
That may be a trip for next year. Called.
Maybe we do it for the Big Ten Media Day.
Well, you know,
maybe we go down. Maybe I'll get off a couple days earlier. Get there, go down to Lafayette, bowl, and then go to the media day, and then go back down there and bowl more matches.
Chris, the question is, would we be able to keep the ball on the lane and not in the gutter because we're going to be bowling with the legend?
Oh, I will take a lesson from Mike Aulby. That's like taking a lesson from Babe Ruth.